Hi, my name is Augie Johnston, and I've generated over $1 million of profit through my online businesses. If I had to start all over again and make my first $10,000 in a month, here's exactly how I would do it. First of all, I would pick a market where there's already money moving around in there. I personally would go B2B because you can really start charging premium prices. When I first started online, I had a B2C company. I was a basketball training business where we sold, basketball training courses and basketball training products like jump ropes and heavy balls and that kind of stuff. And it was really hard to sell things to consumers, especially because my consumers were 12-year-old boys and girls learning how to play basketball, right? They didn't have credit cards. And so it was a challenging market. I couldn't charge $1,000 for a product. I couldn't even charge $100 for a product. But now that we run VidChops, we have products that are, $1,000 a month, $4,000. We even have an $8,000 product that we sell to businesses who are looking to grow their business. So that's it. I would choose a market that's B2B because what you want to do is you want to help a business increase their revenue so there's justification for them to spend whatever, $10,000 on whatever you're selling because you're making them $50,000. You get what I'm saying? So what industries have a lot of money moving around right now? Well, AI is huge. Content creation is still huge. Online businesses are still huge, or even setting up AI systems for local businesses. Anything that's tied to revenue is where I'd want to get started. And like for VidChops, the reason I started a video editing service for YouTubers is because I was doing the basketball training business. I was a YouTuber. All my YouTuber friends were complaining about the video editing part. I listened to the problems they were facing, and I designed a business to solve those problems and to serve the people that were complaining. So listen up. Who is complaining about what? What are businesses struggling with? A lot of them. And that brings me to my next point. I'd want to be helping local businesses with what? Maybe their social media or something that's going to help them grow their revenue. So what I would do is I would sell a service that I myself could complete for them right away. And if it wasn't, helping them grow their revenue, maybe it's just, cutting their grass. But nonetheless, I could get this business started right away by getting my lawnmower, knocking on their door and saying, hey, I will cut your grass, once a week and make a special design here or there, do this and do that and add this here. And it's a complete service. And I could do that myself. So my whole point here is that services, you can get started right away. You don't have to go source products from here or do any other kind of complex things. If you yourself, you have a skill, you can go ahead and, provide the service yourself. Then once you get a few more customers, then you can have other people provide the service. And look, at this point in the business, most people would say, hey, I need a website, I need a logo, I need this and that. I need to get all complicated. I need to buy a course. I need to learn. No, you don't need any of that. You just need a way to collect payments, and that is it. If you have a way for people to enter their credit card, and I'd recommend something like Stripe, it's going to charge you 2.9% on every transaction that comes through, but it's free to use to start with. You don't have to put any money up front. Then you have a business. Okay, so don't overthink it. That's the main thing here is you just need to try to get your first customer. So once I had my service kind of figured out and I was able to get my first customer, I would then really hone in on who I'm trying to serve, right? My avatar, my dream client. And I would start with whoever signed up first, and I would really try to figure out how can I get in touch with these people. This is the marketing part, right? This is where we're going to grow this business. First of all, I would create content. Nowadays in the world we live in, people are going to say, who are you? Okay. And they're going to look you up on Instagram, or they're going to look you up on YouTube or some other platform to kind of see who you are. And so that's what I would do. I would spend a day or two and I would create a social media profile on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, and I would get a website up. And I would just make sure there was content on all of those platforms. Because the best thing you can do when you're talking to somebody and you find a new business that could be interested is you can say, hey, go watch all these YouTube videos. I'm the real deal. You're going to see, I know exactly what I'm talking about. And if they do go and watch some of those videos, that's going to warm them up. That'll turn them into a warm lead, meaning now they kind of know, like, and trust you, and they might actually purchase from you, where before you were cold. You were just some guy knocking on their door saying, hey, I can do this for you. And they're like, whoa, who are you? Show me your credentials. Well, when they go and they watch your YouTube videos, now they know you know what you're talking about, and now they will convert. And with this content, you're not even really trying to go viral or anything. You're just trying to educate, show them you know what you're talking about, and that is good enough. And with each new client that I serve, I would make sure to over deliver. No matter what, every single client that I work with when I'm starting a new business is going to say, this was amazing experience. Thank you so much. Or at least if I'm not able to deliver the results, they're going to see me, bust my butt to try to deliver results. Because in the end, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get a testimonial from each one of these people. You need to build up testimonials and get that social proof early in business. If you don't, you're kind of fighting an uphill battle, because every single person that you pitch to, they're going to want to see testimonials from people that are just like them in the exact same industry, with the exact same struggles. You're going to want to see the transformation. If they can see that, they'll put themselves in their shoes and say, well, look, this guy, ran social media for this company over here and grew them from $10,000 to $50,000 a month. They're going to help me do that. Also, through this early part of the business, what I would do is I would ask a lot of questions. I would survey clients. I would survey people that said no to me, and I would learn. I would get feedback from them, and I would learn what didn't work for this client or what they did like, what they didn't like. And then I would iterate. Constant iteration of the product, the messaging, and who my ideal client truly is. If they're not having a great experience, you need to change. You need to iterate. And that's a huge part of business. Is a lot of times people will launch an offer, right? And nobody will buy it or whatever. And they'll just keep that same offer for years, and they'll just trying to sell it. And nobody's buying, when all they had to do was just change one small part of the offer, right? You just have to add one small bonus, or just change the pricing structure of it, or something small like that. And that's the difference that you need. So what I'm trying to say here is, throughout this whole sales process that I'm doing and client fulfillment process that I'm doing, I'm collecting data, I'm getting feedback, and I'm iterating on my business. And this is very similar to how I started VidChops, my video editing service for YouTubers. When we started, for the first few clients, I was the editor, and I made sure to over deliver. I made sure to collect testimonials. I did all those things that I mentioned in this video. And in time, right, I had a team and I hired out editors, and now we've grown, way past, myself. And so I know it's possible, and it's a service as well, right? This is an agency that we use, and we hire people. It's real people behind the scenes doing the editing and thumbnail design and all that kind of stuff. Hey, if you're looking to get started and start your online business, try to follow it, right? Get started with the service, and don't overthink anything, and just try to get that first customer and over deliver for them. That's really the name of the game. And I hope you guys liked it. If you did, go ahead and check out another one of my videos here. And of course, if you need help with your video editing and thumbnail design, and just want to create a content machine, head over to vidchops.com. Thanks again, and I will see you guys in this video.